dealt with most of the mobs, but a Valkyrie, a Rhino carrying Sisters of Battle, and I think some Arbites showed up in the perimeter. And that's pretty much when shit turned sideways. Our navigator died, our psyker died, uh, another person died, my orc went unconscious. Our gun cutter came to rescue us. We all managed to get aboard except for our mutant tech priest friend who's currently being shot at by the Valkyrie. And if my orc was awake, he'd just vote to leave him behind. But not. So.
No, fuck your orc, you fucking piece of shit. Goddamn. No.
Whoa there.
You're a Xeno.
I'm not a Xeno. I'm a mutant, that's the difference.
Oh my god.
You're worse than a Xeno.
You're ugly.
Pretty much.
Wow, with the low blow there, Erden. Rain that shit in, bro. Rain that shit in.
I have to, alright? I have to.
No, you don't. Alright, so mark down 50 XP for the recap.
50 you said? I'm buying Medicaid before.
That's fucking bullshit.
I was waiting for that 50 XP this whole fucking time.
No, you know what? That is shitty
No,
recap.
no, fuck off,
You
fuck
get
off.
49. You get 49.5 XP.
Nope, too late. I committed.
Okay. Yeah, do that then. Alright, so I wanted to start with some. I'm just looking real quick at something, but apparently I can't find it, so I just have to improvise on the fly. Alright. And yeah, Stormy, what you asked for, I'll. You can just write that in the equipment section and then make a note of it, and then add the relevant stats to the relevant bit. Or you can just, like I said, keep a note of it in the gear section.
I shall try.
I'll have a look after the session because I'm trying to frantically catch up on like 8 different things at the same time and also find the character sheets for something else. Alright, so I think as the battle commences, as the fury of combat rages on in the trade district, I think we pan away for a brief moment to elsewhere. In a land not so far away.
No, I don't care about anyone. I care about me. Fuck everybody else.
Yeah, well, I don't care about you.
Damn, I know you don't. That's why you're trying to kill me.
Yes, but to make a quick clarification before I start going into waxing poetics about the universe, the Arbites are the ones in the Valkyrie, and the Sisters of Battle are in the Rhino. In case anyone missed that. I'm just gonna quickly open my Google Docs. All right. So I think as the main party with Billy Orman and those who went with him went to the trade district to pick up the crate, the gift for the family friend, taking the astropath, the various Xenos and mutants with him as he went, and the lunatic missionary, of course, don't forget him. It was the seneschal and the junior astropath serving aboard the ship went instead to the trade lord Manus Hopperduke, Lord of Commerce on this planet, second only to the Lord Treasurer himself in the government, And as he is Lord Hopperduke is a fairly busy man, I suppose. He cannot have an audience with each individual person, so instead he arranges a small dinner gathering where you can mingle for a few minutes with other off-world traders and important figures of commerce on this planet before he has a few minutes to spare for a individual conversation. And because Billy and the main crew were playing the objectives and decided to acquire the crate in person as is required for this kind of value cargo, he sent the junior astropath and the seneschal instead to meet the Lord. And I think it's there in the main grand chamber of the Lord of Commerce that we begin our adventure tonight. So first of all, and this happens while the main party walks in, lands on the planet, and walks in to the armor shop. So as the seneschal and the junior astropath, you are led into the grand palace of commerce on this planet in the high spire, which is located roughly 2 kilometers above the trade grounds where the rest of the party is currently located. So yeah, as you're outside the palace is marble, mainly marble and other probably some obsidian accents as well. And yeah, it's absolutely monolithic building. Like it rivals the grand cathedral of the ecclesiarchy in here, this planet, in this city. And yeah, both of you are led through the halls into the small gathering room where you both see at least 15 others off-world traders are gathered and currently mingling. So you know that you're still a bit early, and both of you have been assigned a servant that will tend to your needs. So yeah, walking in front, we have the new seneschal. So do you want to describe yourself, how the character looks? Can be in depth or just a brief description, so we get an idea.
Just like medium stature, white hair, dark eyes, wears a hood just for fun. Typically just wears dark clothing so that if she needs to get through a crowd, no one will really notice her, because she just kind of doesn't want to be noticed. And yet she notices everything.
All right. Any distinguishable? Yeah, I suppose for this one you wouldn't have come in like full battle gear with this kind of high-profile meeting, so you probably would have kept like on the down low with, maybe not carrying a basilisk artillery cannon or something like that. But yeah, you and the junior astropath took a different shuttle down, so you are currently operating independent of the rest of the party for this. And yeah,
Mhm.
walking behind you is the junior astropath. And Mombo, do you want to describe your character?
Yeah, so Klepzig, he wears a robe, but you can see the heavy guard issue flak armor underneath. And he's fairly, um, I'd say, young for an astropath. He's in his, coming up on his 50s. And he's got, he's a little bit more built than most astropaths. He's got a lot of muscle on him. But he still wears a dark robe and uses his psi focus as a sort of walking staff, and obviously blind eyes, as most astropaths are known to have, but has no problem seeing where he's going with some sort of unnatural sight.
Do you, for the sake of modesty, cover up the empty eye sockets, or do you just let them hang out there to be intimidating?
Right now, they're open. They're available. There's no blindfold or panel.
All right. Yeah, I think as you come into the Palace of Commerce here, you are offered like a finely crafted silk scarf to tie around your face if you so wish to have it. It's very fancy, very ornate, but obviously it's up to you to decide if you wish to carry it. It's a complimentary one, so on the house.
Yeah, I suppose I'll take it.
Mark that on your character sheet, what I wrote in chat. So yeah, as you walk into the room, into the grand chamber where the others are lounging around, mingling, uh, the man who is leading you. Sorry, what was your character name again? Mambo.
Mine is Swediger Klepzig.
Yeah, Swediger. Yeah, so as Swediger, as you're walking in, the servants that have been assigned to you politely gestures to a door to the side and leads you down there or leads you in there if you decide to follow. Otherwise, you can walk into the open space in front of you as well.
Yeah, I'll follow him.
All right. Yeah. So while Beatrice walks with her servant through the grand arch, the double doors, the double brass doors into this cathedral-like room. It's probably like 8 meters to the ceiling. It has a very very steep vault to the ceiling, and you see there's at least 6 meter high windows, cathedral-style windows, where the sun is shining through, and has the painted murals of the God Emperor sitting on the golden throne, surrounded with coins and treasure around the throne, at the bottom of the throne. So not 100% ecclesiarchy approved, but it's tasteful in its own right. And yeah, you see, like I said, it is about 15 or so other people here in the room with you. And yeah, as you walk in, you see some of the servants just walking through the crowd, probably servitors, serving drinks to people, and, finger food if you want to grab something, some refreshments.
I'll grab a drink, but I'm not gonna drink it. I'm just gonna hold it.
All right. Yeah, and you see
You're already
people.
drinking.
I just said I
see
wasn't
some,
drinking.
Oh,
and there are some people, like a
liar.
couple of people standing in clusters, like talk, just chit chatting with, small talking with each other, and yeah, seem to be just mingling, waiting for the Lord of Commerce to arrive and the dinner to start. And you see there is this massive, probably like 20 people, 20 seats banquet table in the middle of the room, dark wood with some currently being prepared by servitors as well. And Swidega, as you're being led through the smaller archway to the side, you walk up a short staircase, so two flights of stairs. So you come up on the second floor, and the servant leads you through again a smaller arched double door into a room. And yeah, in here it's again marble floor, dark wood paneled wall, and yeah, some marble pillars, and there is a smaller table, a smaller banquet table. You see some bookshelves lining the walls, and you see like there is a couple of doors, couple of open doorways leading into further into the house. And yeah, immediately as you step through the door, you realize that there is something different about this place than the everywhere else you have been so far. And yeah, as you walk around for a bit and start to get a feel for it, you realize that the gravity in here has been slightly altered to be somewhat lighter than normal. Not enough to hinder or make your movements more complicated, but it's not as crushing pressure as the everywhere else you've been. And you hear the very faint hum of the artificial gravity generators in this room as well. And inside you see maybe 9 or 10 others, and you all immediately notice them to recognize them to be astropaths as well, ranging in age from probably someone who just came out from the temple of the Astropathica to grizzled veterans who have been doing this so long that they're about, hair's breadth away from being skin draped over a skeletal frame and nothing else. Like that's the kind of age range here. And yeah, as you kind of realize this, the servant says, because of people of your unique gift, my lord, this room has been specially set aside for those with your gifts, and grammatically altered to ease the pains of age on with of those with your gift, unique gift. And should you need to take a message, we have alcoves. Down this way, and he points to one of the doorways, and you see, like as you look in, there is maybe 6 or 7 small alcoves with sturdy doors, and all of it you see are lined with the runes, wards and runes, hexagrammic wards on protection, and you know that's messenger chamber where an astropath would hang out. You have the same kind of thing on your ship. And the servant says, refreshment will be brought in shortly, so please take a seat, enjoy the evening. The Vox will work just fine here, but if you need to utilize your gifts, I would ask you to use one of the alcoves for that.
All right. If I sit down on somewhere in the room, can I do a scrutiny roll to see if there's some sort of like a tension in the room that I need to be aware of?
Yeah, sure. But I can tell you even without it that right now there's a couple of grumpy astropaths, and maybe they're just tired and travel worn. There's others that's sitting, having a good time, just chatting with each other. And, a couple of people smoking, either low sticks or obscura. It could be something else. And drinks are being served. Like it seems to be a fairly jovial atmosphere for the most part. And you see one of the grizzled veterans who seems to be who's walking around with a bolted on exoskeleton. It seems to be leaning back comfortably in a chair for the first time in a long time because of the altered gravity in here.
All right, yeah. I'll just make myself comfortable and wait to see what this is all about then.
Yeah. So, yeah, as you look around the room, one thing you realize there's a balcony, so it's like three walls and an opening with a balcony. and you can see the balcony railing leading into the grand chamber where Beatrice is, but there is just a permanently black wall in front of that, so you are not able to perceive anything inside that. Everything else you can perceive normally with your unnatural sight.
No map for this?
Not yet.
Not ever.
All right. Yeah, so you can spend your time either sitting, brooding in a corner. You can mingle with some people.
Tingle and tingle.
Yeah,
What I'm
just,
saying, I don't have.
He's not tingling yet. Let the man get introed before he starts tingling. Oh,
I just want
Get
to.
ready for a Pringle.
I just want to sneak around the room and start tickling people.
yes, please. But I'm not in that room, so like, God, rude much.
wow.
Wait, what did I just hear?
I
I'm
thought
sorry, I was
you
like
didn't-
half paying attention. I heard about tingling in a room or something.
All right.
I'm trying to tickle the information out of these astropaths, Erden. What do you want?
Oh, sure, tickle. Yeah, I understand.
I don't even know what's going on anymore. But yeah, you're both currently in a separate room, and there seems to be some sort of side block between the two rooms to separate them.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll how crowded is this room exactly?
So it's a fairly large, like upper, like second story landing. It has a table with room enough for all. So and like I said, it's probably like 9 or 10 people other than yourselves, other than astropaths, that is. And then there's a couple of more servants and servitors. That's just tending to the astropaths' needs in here.
Alright, so am I within like conversational distance of everyone else just by being in the room?
Yeah, like everyone is like, it's small enough that everyone is in conversation distance.
Okay, yeah. In that case,
And
yeah, I was just gonna say I'll sit down and I'll just talk to whoever's near me in a basically normal, like small talkish sort of way. Maybe ask what they're doing here and what we are doing here if they know, stuff like that.
all right, yeah. So like, is there any? You just want general info or something very specific?
I'm not really looking for any like out of game info, I guess, but I'm just trying to blend in and seem normal for the time being.
Okay,
the
yeah. So
time.
you might snag some refreshments as a plate go by. Some finger food, some drink. Maybe a smoke or two. But yeah, basically, the the traders themselves, or the trade emissaries, which the seneschal would be for this particular purpose for the invitation. Basically, they separate the astropaths from the trade emissaries, simply and divide them. So this is what the person you're talking to tells you, like in a roundabout way. And they basically separate the astropaths from the traders and trade emissaries, purely so that there is no undue psychic influence. And the room where the traders are currently, having dinner and mingling, it's psi shielded, so you will not be able to utilize your powers in there. But Vox still works just fine. So if Beatrice or you need to talk to each other, you can just Vox each other with the comm beads, and then you can, as an astropath, you can utilize your power to send a message elsewhere, like to the ship, for example, or elsewhere on the planet if you need. But yeah, the separation is basically just to make sure that there is no like psychic influence that might lead to an unfavorable trade deal.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So there is no ill intent, as far as you can tell. But this is purely a precaution to encourage free trade and free conversation. And yeah, like the servant said, the gravity in here has been slightly altered because from personal experience, from what you have seen and from what you have felt yourself, that the more an astropath utilizes the powers, the more worn out their body will become until they just wither away completely and burn out. So it's just being nice to the astropaths to give them a comfortable room to be in, especially those who are like advanced in age. All right. So yeah, I think Beatrice, as you were working the crowd, as it were, or standing in a corner, is up to you. But yeah, you like there's a couple of people that just circulate the room and small talks with everyone. And unless there is anything specific you wanna accomplish here, I think we can skip ahead slightly to where the Lord of Commerce arrives.
Skipping ahead, it's fine.
All right. So yeah, the doors, the double marble door opens, and yeah, you see a man in his late 60s. Is probably like 3 times that age with rejuvenation treatments, and yeah, he walks in on a gold and gem encrusted cane, a walking cane, and wearing a very fancy satin purple robe with gold accents. And all of you know that this is Lord Manos Hopperduke, the Lord of Commerce. And he's about, like I said, looks kind of 60, but probably at least 3 times that, shaved chin and long white hair tied up in braids that goes down to slightly below the shoulder blades. And yeah, as he walks in, the servants and servitors finish preparing the table, and he makes a round, shakes hands, makes introductions, and yeah, just greets everyone in a respectful manner before everyone is called to the dinner table. And while that happens, in the main chamber, the astropathic chamber, servants prepare the dinner table as well for all of you, and there's a wide spread of delicacies, whatever the hell that's called in English. Oh. But yeah, like really fancy food, really fancy booze is served, and yeah, it's just a good atmosphere, and all of this is to make the trade emissaries and the traders feel welcome on this planet, to stimulate commerce on this planet. And I think maybe after the appetizers and the main course have been served, I think yeah, and there's a constant small talk. People sitting next to each other, just like talking quietly about like business ideas, and business opportunities and all. And the astropath, they talk about whatever astropaths talk about. And yeah, I think at some point you see one of the Beatrice, at least you see one of the servants come in with a fairly hurried step, and this is like mid main course, I think. And you see him, the servant, lean down and whisper something in the Lord of Commerce's ear, and he excuses himself and stands up and walks away to the side, into a side room. And as that happens, like there is some talk about what's happening, like why is he leaving right now? Just when the conversation started to get good, and yeah, you see like some of the others at the table where you're sitting, they start like channeling through their comm beads and listening to various things. And there's starting to be some excitement happening in the room. Like everyone seems to be excited or agitated about something. And the trader comes back maybe a minute or so after. And I think what he says is, I hope you can excuse the interruption, but it seems that I have a small matter to attend to. Seems to be a small disruption of commerce happening right now, which requires my full attention. So I'll take your visits another time. And then he bows low to all of you and walks away out to the study. And you see one of them brings out a small, close enough for you to notice at least, Beatrice. One of them brings out a small data pad, or a data slate rather, that has a continuous news feed open, picked feed open from some newscast or some such. And there is this essentially a live report from a disturbance at the Commerce Field E, where the rest of the party is hanging out doing their thing. And you can see how there is a crowd of trade gangers attacking this party at the base of a marble store, which you know to be one of the renowned weaponsmiths here. And then as the trade gangers get beaten and shot up, you see the Oddvites and the Sisters of Battle show up and starting attacking these few individuals. And there is like the constant, the newscaster basically constantly points out that all civilians need to avoid this area. Hostile forces are currently engaging, or brave Arbites, stay away from this area and let the professional take care of it. And you see, like in almost real time, as the battle unfolds underneath the city, like 2 kilometers down from where you're currently standing.
I'm gonna use my Vox and tell my astropath what is happening and what I'm seeing, and let him know that we might need to leave / don't tell anybody who we came with or that we're with anyone here, because we don't want to cause any issues and we don't want anyone to start coming after us.
Right. Do you sit at the table while you box this, or do you excuse yourself and step away for a bit?
I'm gonna excuse myself and walk over to a corner and kind of just stand there,
Cry.
pretend as though I'm sipping my drink that I've held on to, just kind of use it to sort of hide my mouth as I'm talking, so that no one really sees anything.
All right. Yeah, it's a good strategy, and it's far enough of it. Like the room is large enough that you can easily walk to a corner and be out of immediate earshot. Unless, of course, someone has cybernetically implanted hearing and, heightened sense hearing. But what are the odds of that, Sorry, I couldn't resist. It was an open door. But yeah, you send the message, and Sweidiger, you receive this message through the Vox in your ear.
Alright. Let me see. So, what's the, what connection do we have to the stuff going on outside right now?
That's the rest of our frickin' shit getting shot.
Yeah, I got that. But it's 2 kilometers from where we are, and we're basically we were called here for negotiations with the planetary governor for some sort of like a what do you call it? Some sort of generic trade deal.
Yeah.
It was more it was more like a courtesy, like you're off-world, from a off-world traders from a fairly wealthy dynasty, rogue trader dynasty. So the Lord of Commerce just sent you an invite, say, "Hey, I see you're I see you're on planet or in orbit at least. Please come and say hello at the office. We can have drinks and talk." So it was more like a courtesy thing rather than a specific, "Hey, I have a offer you can't refuse."
Okay. Um, in that case, I will probably excuse myself to a corner and over the Vox, I will just let's see. Yeah, I think I'll just speak back through the Vox. I think that we may want to try and get back to the ship.
Yeah, and maybe the servant told you this, or the other astropath you were talking to, but in the chambers where you would commune for sending messages, they also have like completely, what the hell is it called, stammers? I forget which one, but there is basically when the doors are closed, there is no one who can listen into the conversation there, but you still have a Vox line. You can still use your Vox, but no one can intercept it from there. Like it's hard line out to a connection point, and then from there, it transmits. So you can still use the Vox, but you don't have to worry about like sneaking off. There's no unnatural thing about that.
Okay.
Oh, so he doesn't have to worry about anything. I have to worry about it.
The unfortunate truth.
Uh-huh. Okay. Then, upon hearing him suggesting back to the ship, I'm going to look around, kind of. Do I need to roll perception to gauge if anyone's suddenly alarmed by the fact that I'm, like, walking around?
Or it can either be, I suppose, awareness or scrutiny. I think awareness will just give you, like, if someone gives you like a shifty eye, just because you're the odd person out, or maybe like they're staring at your, curvatures. Or it could, if you do a scrutiny, for example, it could be like, oh yeah, this person is definitely like paying more attention to me because they're, they give me the side eye. So maybe there's something up with. So yeah, you get different results, but both works.
I'll do awareness. Or try. Yay.
Yeah, with awareness, yeah, you notice that there is at least two people just side eyeing you, or maybe not side eyeing you, but they're definitely like as you stand up and walk to the corner and sipping your drink, like they're definitely like looking at you. But with that, hard to tell if they actually suspecting anything or just looking at a good figure, especially one that's walking away from them.
I mean, I am small and curvy, so that's possible.
Yeah, but from what you can tell, you have the attention of at least two people, and it doesn't seem to be the full attention, but there's definitely like two stands out that looks at you.
I'm gonna be a little gutsy, and I'm gonna walk up to one of them and make small talk and ask him if he knows anything about what's happening, or like what his plans are now that everything's been called off.
Alright, so yeah, there's a man, and then I think most with this revelation that there is some fairly potent combat going on. I think most of the people have gotten up from the table and just clustering around talking. Maybe like old acquaintances get up and group together while others sit at the table. And there's one man who who looks at you and he has this as you approach, like he has this like, oh yeah, he's coming here and talk to me, like that stupid grin on his face. And then the other one is a woman, uh, about middle age, still beautiful um, features on her, and she has a very small tattoo on the one eye, and she is currently still sitting at the table, but she definitely turned her head to follow you as you walk.
Okay.
Yeah, do you want to talk to the man or to the woman? The woman is still
Woman.
sitting by the table. Yeah,
I'm
she's still
gonna sit
sitting by the
next to
table.
her.
All right, yeah, there is an empty chair as you slide in, and yeah, as you come a bit closer, you see the tattoo a bit clearer.
What would I need to do to find out if I recognize if that tattoo has any significance?
All right, you let me have a look at your character sheet, see what lore skills you have. So from by the looks of it, you only have underworld as a I suppose applicable skill for this situation. So you could roll a minus, it's adjacent but not entirely. So I'll say a minus 10. Minus 10 for this one. Actually, no. Hold on. So
Oops, wrong one.
yeah, no, minus 10. So that one, I mean, there are like it's the same. Hang on, it's the same exact. Both are intelligence, and you have a checkbox in both. So the first, I'll accept the first one.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you know that this is. Yeah, you know that this is the fleur de lis, which is the official symbol for the Adeptus Sororitas. And the color and the placement of this, at least the color indicates um, where the affiliation. I do believe I'm not in the most up on the Sororitas lore, but yeah, it's that you recognize the symbol with 3.6. You recognize the symbol to be that of the Lilac Tears, or the convent of the Lilac Tears. And as you're looking at the picked feed from the marketplace, and you see the Rhino APC storm in and start shooting up the place. Yeah, it's the same exact symbol, same exact color. And I think, yeah, with that one, you would know something very fringe, very specific, very niche. So I'll say, that the woman's name that you're currently sitting next to is Alaria Kerr, and she is the palatine of the convent, which is basically the headmistress of the convent. So the leader for the local sororitas chapter.
Um,
And yeah, the Adeptus Sororitas, one of their sub-branches are the Sisters of Battle, who frequently wears power armor and uses bolters when they're fighting, bolters and flamers. But there are other branches of them, their organization as well.
I don't want to piss her off.
But yeah, like if you just want to ask her, like you slide down next to her and say, "Hey, I saw you looking at me."
Yeah, I'm just going to ask her if there's anything that I can help her with, like not even in a sarcastic way, just like doing genuine like, hi, and like I saw you looking at me. Like, is there something you'd like to ask me or talk to me about?
And yeah, she has a very neutral look to her face. Like there is no hint of emotion one way or the other, playing across her features. But yeah, she's sitting there, with very beautiful features in a lilac dress, with showing some cleavage, but nothing too revealing, nothing too like eye grabbing. It's just a beauty. Yeah, what?
Saying it was tasteful.
Yeah, a very tasteful dress. That's it. And yeah, she as you asked that, she says, "I'm good, my child. I simply were curious as to anyone moving around. It's a old habit of mine from the battlefield." And she gives you a slight smile when she says that. Always be aware of your surroundings. And you see, like, from the position you're sitting in, you see a servitor walking in from the kitchen area or food prep area, and her immediate eyes just dart to the servitor before moving back to you, catching the movement from the corner of her eye. May verify that there is no threat. And she says, if you wish to help, the poor and the needy are always in need of aid, financial or otherwise. I will be happy to refer you to one of the hospices if you wish to contribute.
I will tell her that I'd love to, but I have a colleague that I came with and ensure that he's doing all right since he's still in the upper room. And then I will very politely excuse myself to check on Swidiger and figure out where he is and if he's making any movement after I kind of slight curtsy and walk away from her slowly, not trying to draw any attention to myself or anything, making sure that he's okay and not coming into any issues leaving.
All right. Yeah. So as you walk away, do you look over your shoulder to make sure that there is no one like grabbing your, looking at you still, or do you just
Yes.
head forward? All right. Yeah, you see, like she is following you with her eyes as you walk away, but she makes no other motion that you can see before you leave the chamber. And yeah, as you walking towards the exit, the servant that was assigned to you, comes up, falls in slightly behind you if there is anything you need.
Astropath dead.
Ah, you wish to see your astropath? This way, my lady. And he guides you through the side door where Swidiger went, and a short trip up the staircase, and you come through the door opens automatically, and you step in, and again you immediately feel the slight shift in gravity as you feel slightly lighter on your feet. And you see the room. There is about 10 or so astropaths, like 10, 11 or so astropaths now, sitting at a table or standing next to it, smoking, drinking, and having a conversation, like animated conversation about, something. Either what's going on outside, or maybe they're discussing some techniques for sending, and the ciphers they individually use, like what would be the best way to interpret something. And you can tell right away that there is at least two of them that are pretty heavily in their cups at this point.
I'm just going to kind of hug the wall of the room. I don't want to get too close. I'm just going to kind of watch all of them kind of take notice of what they're doing, see whether or not they're paying any sort of particular attention to me, or whether or not it's like the general just, oh, there's a new person in the room. And
Yeah,
then
it's the brief new person in the room, and then they go back to what a conversation was. Especially seeing as, to them at least, you look like a normal human, like your eyes isn't poked out, and you don't have any of the iconography of an astropath. So they acknowledge your existence in the room, but they don't stop what they're doing.
I'm gonna walk over to Schweidinger then and see how he's doing, I guess.
All right, Schweidiger, you see the seneschal arrive into the room, and as best as possible make herself invisible by hugging the wall before arriving to you or next to you.
Alright, so it's maybe been about 5 minutes since we talked on the Vox.
Yeah, maybe like 5-10 minutes or so.
Okay. Then as soon as I see her, I'll sort of exit whatever conversation I might be involved in, then head over to her and say, alright, so I think we should just go ahead and leave if we can, as nonchalant as possible.
So I guess I'm going to call up to the ship and let them know that we're on our way back. Actually, no, better yet, I'm gonna ask you to do that, because as far as I know, I don't know that any sort of communication is being blocked.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to ask him to send something up to the ship and let them know, and something down to the crew below, let them know that we're headed back to the ship. And that will keep them posted if we run into anything.
All right. Yeah. So the shuttle you came with has a pilot assigned to it already from the crew, and it's your shuttle from the shuttle bay on the ship. So as you came down, you basically just told the pilot to keep the engine running, or hang out here for a bit, but you be prepared for a liftoff again. So you don't need to vox ahead. They're just waiting patiently for you to return there. And if you want to send a telepathic message to the people up or down, you believe there is a role for that.
Yeah, I'm opening the core book now. I still have the Death Watch books open. But yeah, so
I mean, we can use those rules if you want.
So as far as I'm trying to get a grasp on exactly our situation, are we planning to return to the shuttle we came down on, or do we want them to send another shuttle and for us to leave off of a different area?
Ooh. I mean, thus far we don't have a reason for us to think that we need a different shuttle. So I would think that we're just going to take the shuttle that we came down on.
Alright. I will make the necessary orders via astropathic telepathy. So let me just figure out what I need to roll.
That sounds so fancy.
Bless you.
Gesundheit.
Yes, that is also one way you can say it.
Wait, me saying Gesundheit or him saying the fanciness of astropathic telepathy?
Both.
Alright,
I'll take it.
so I'm going to do a fettered test of focus power. I'll start off with a Psyniscience test, or not Psyniscience, a invocation, just to sure. Alright, so that'll give me an extra psi rating.
Wait, hang on. Don't you have like the short range telepathy?
Yeah, is that enough to get up to the ship?
I was just looking at your character sheet, and they had you didn't have it listed there, so I was a bit confused.
Let me see. Yeah, normally that's the ability you start with, astral telepathy.
Yeah, I just wasn't aware you can do that with. Yeah, for this purposes, I'll say it's fine. We can figure this out between sessions. Okay, the distance is short enough that it's no problem for you to reach anywhere, like the ship or the ground crew, whichever you want.
Alright, that's no doubles, so no problem.
Excellent. Alright, so first of all, who are you sending this message to?
Well, from what I understand, we're wanting to have a ship sent to us, the same ship we came down on.
So, the ship, the shuttle you came on is parked outside on the landing pad, still waiting for you there. While the ground crew on the 2 kilometers below you on the ground, like the actual sea level ground, they have another shuttle that they came down in. So you came in 2 separate shuttles, and both are still on the ground right now.
Okay. Well, we probably didn't even have to send a message, but since I've already done it, I guess I'll just let the main ship know that we're coming back.
All right. Yeah, or you could tell the ground crew that there is some shit incoming if they didn't realize that already.
Yeah, I guess that would be more
By
useful.
the way, you're gonna get Rhinos up the ass. Good luck. Like literally verbatim, that message, just Rhinos up the ass. Please don't die.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I saw that on a weird anime site once. I'm scared now.
Are we done with the session? I did nothing again.
Wow, Hellforge kink shaming again.
Whoa, bro. I
In
mean, that's
2019.
such a one way to use that single
How
horn of theirs.
dare you,
Oof, yeah.
Hellforge? How dare you?
Actually, depending on what anatomy
Shame.
you have, there's more than one use for that horn.
That's very true.
Wait, what horn?
All right.
Whose horn?
Your
Rhino
horn,
horn.
all the horns.
My horn. Oh, I have as many uses for my horn.
Please.
Yeet!
Let's get back to
She
it.
said my horn. She already talk about my horn. Don't blame
Why?
me.
Through.
I'm
No one else
blaming
is like
everyone
your
for this.
horn, so I thought I should talk about my horn.
All
I
right,
haven't
so
had anything to talk about all session, Hellforge.
Oh my
it's
god!
not my fault that your characters died. No, shush. All right, so you send a message to the either ship or the ground crew.
Sending a message about my horn? Why are you talking about
Oh
my
my
horn?
god, okay, please send it to the ground crew to let them know that we're leaving.
Yeah, I'm sending it to the
That's
ground
probably
crew.
for the-
Okay.
Alright.
All right, so you reach out with your mind, and you realize that the head astropath is, you get no signal reception from him. So you flip through the channels, and you manage to send a message to Billy, who is apparently next in line when it comes to communication, saying, "Hey, we're leaving." All right, so Billy, you as you're in the middle of this fight and you see you have just managed to pull Tooth Cut out on the bike and driven into the gun cutter, you get this weird tingling sensation up your spine and cold shivers,
Yes,
and
all
you
been
hear this
thinking.
disembodied voice in your mind saying, "Hey, we're leaving."
Billy.
Alright, so we've got to scoop up mutant and we're gonna meet up with them. Do we have an ETA on them?
So, depending on the planning here, and I say you can, yeah, it would be a short message, so probably I had to send it again. But yeah, it's depending on if they coming to basically assist you or if they gonna just piss off back to the ship and wait for you there. Like that's gonna entirely depend on how the next rounds of combats happens. So what's the plan? Is the Spire crew going?
You're thinking about
Well,
my thing, you know that.
what, babe?
I will
No,
say
because I'm
that
trying to think of it like, okay, so right now we have, what, 3 people dead? Everyone's on the ship right now, except for,
the
except
tech
for
priest.
the tech freeze. So, honestly, if we go down there, there's just more chance of causing more shit.
No, shut up. We go down there, save our fucking tech whatever.
I'll sex you on the ship. It's fine. But like, no. So I'm trying to think about this logically because like it's a thing of like at this point, logically speaking, like we risk
Oh.
more of a chance of dying if we go down there.
At this point
versus
out, this whole
if
started
we.
because we didn't think logically. Now you're trying to think
Yes,
logically? Fuck out of
and
here.
Okay, see, I didn't get a chance to think logically because last time round we had a fucking missionary that just went ape shit. This time I get to play this my way, so I'm going to say that we're going to the ship, but we will leave it in that like we have an ETA of like I'll say a 5 to 10 minute walk to our shuttle, and if they need us to come down in that time, please let us know. Otherwise, we'll meet them at the ship. And like rendezvous there because at this point like there's no point in us coming down, like the battle's more or less over.
with that train of logic, I'm not gonna you don't have to roll for this. But with that very same train of logic, you also realize that if the authorities, quote unquote, haven't connected the dot yet that you are from the same ship, if the Spire crew were to fly down to assist the ground crew, then they would know immediately that, oh shit, you're guilty as well of this shit. So
Yeah,
they're
so
gonna.
like I'd rather not. I'm just gonna leave so that we can leave and they won't know who the fuck we are or where the fuck we came. I want to stay as anonymous as possible
All right.
because hypothetically we could come back down to figure out what the fuck went wrong because nobody knows anything about us, but everybody knows their faces now. Like they're plastered all over every like data slip. Like they're fucked.
Every news feed knows their face now.
Yeah, so no, I'd rather just if they need us like desperate, like
I have
last
a
case.
hood on.
Shut the fuck up. If they need us like last minute, like desperate, then fine. But otherwise, I want to try and keep our identities concealed as long as possible.
All right. So I think that's the one who surrendered.
I didn't surrender. There's no such proof.
Oh yeah, that's
I
true.
don't remember.
You tried.
I very much remember you trying.
But yes, so it's gonna take maybe 10 minutes of walking through the palace to the, and this is with like the escalators and the like the conveyor belts and all that they have in the grim darkness of the far future to let people travel faster. No segways, however. So yeah, it'll take you like roughly 10 minutes to get to the landing pad to where your shuttle is currently standing or parked. and it's an Aquila lander, which I don't believe have any weapons on it. I may be wrong, however.
Hopefully we won't need weapons, Hellforge. Hopefully we won't need the weapons.
Yes.
Stop it.
Don't worry, we've played
Behave.
we've played with Hellforge a long time. He would never kill one of our characters.
I didn't start it.
He seemed a little like he seemed a teeny tad, like tiny bit sad that I died last time. So like I'm holding on to that.
All right.
It's because you
So
weren't
I
his
felt bad that you
target.
died because he was trying to kill me and I didn't die. So you was
Shut up.
right, so
I just got this character Hellforge. Let me please let me keep her for like a little
Yeah.
bit, like just a hot
Well,
minute.
what I was gonna say is that Aquila lander has one pilot-operated autocannon, so you could technically engage in combat if you so desire to do so.
Right
Though
now, I
wouldn't
just want to
recommend it.
disapprove.
Yes, and you can do that. It'll take you roughly 10 minutes of narrative time as you walk through the palace to up to uh, the the ship landing pads, and you see there's a couple of other like really fancy Aquila landers and a couple of luxury yachts hanging out there as well. So there is definitely like some, and you see most of them have obvious weapons, and there's other like sleek sports designs that has like the weapons is currently stowed. So there are some firepower sitting here, but at no point is anyone trying to stop you, any of the two of you, from leaving the building. Like the servants follow you to the landing pad unless you dismiss them, and they wish you yeah, a safe journey to wherever you're going next, and plenty of profits. So they're all super cordial, and no one is making a fuss out of it. And yeah, like you hear over the walks, like you see servants as you walk through the palace, like, and also when you walk out on the landing pads, like everyone has like data pads up or data slates up, and just looking at the news feed of what's going down on the ground. And yeah, the situation seems to be escalating at a very rapid rate. So yeah, did you so for the Spire crew then? Last time I asked this before we make an executive decision here. So you're going up back to the ship in orbit, yeah?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, you take off without a problem. The pilot greets you as you enter the ship, and you say, "Take us back to the ship." He salutes you, and the co-pilot, um, go through the motions of pre-flight, and yeah, you take off. Maybe like 40 seconds later, starts flying up. As you're leaving, as you're flying up towards orbit, I would like the both of you to roll me a plus 40 awareness, please. And I think this happens roughly around the same time as the last round of combat that we did last session. All right. So what do you see as the ship, climbs through the, climbs upward, and more of the city falls away, and the surrounding areas and the hills was visible from the like cluttered buildings. So you see a bit more of the cliff wall. There is 3 small plateaus uh, surrounding, like underneath the city itself, on the outside of the mountain, and you see there are at least 4. Let's see, so I get this right, because I always mess it up. Yeah, so the first thing you see, there is at least 2 Fury interceptors that's flying at absolute maximum velocity towards the current engagement area. And yeah, those to be fairly potent air-to-air fighters, especially designed for that. And yeah, hard to tell what weapons they're currently having, but there is definitely uh, some potential problems for the ground crew coming. and I like I said, I can't find it, but I do believe it's a. You see a couple of manticores and a couple of hydras, hydra batteries, anti-air batteries, lining the side of the cliff, or the mountain rather. That's all seem to be in. Have rolled up from their hidden shelters, and they are all like waiting for the target aspects to lock on the gun cutter. So yeah, that's what you see as you're leaving. So you can react to that as you wish.
So we're just seeing that. I'm like, honestly, Helford, to be super honest, sometimes your voice, like my brain's just like, ooh, pretty voice, and then I don't hear
That's very kind of you to say. But basically, a manticore platform is basically a anti-aircraft turret that shoots missiles, like tracking missiles. And
okay.
then the Hydra is essentially just a quad autocannon for anti-air. So yeah, you see a whole bunch of like anti-air installations lining the lower parts of the city.
I am going to my Vox warn our crew that is still on the ground that they may want to be careful coming back out because there are things that could potentially get them once they're off the ground and in the air.
And that's as good of a plan.
That was a lot of words. I don't know what you.
This
that's
is
a lot of words.
this is way. I'm an astropath. I'm not a void master or anything. This is way outside my what I can do about it.
You can smite them.
I'm
You-
basically telling, like, so basically, it's a, like, just so you know, there are missiles and lots of them, and just so you're careful, like, make sure that perhaps you have the ship flown carefully so that it can't be identified.
You should also mention
The pardon?
The
the Fury interceptors.
Yeah, that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the lawyer yet to get all the words, guys. Give me.
What about words? What about words?
I'm not doing them well today.
So you think I am?
My mouth's not doing the words today.
Yeah, so basically we just saw all of this anti-air stuff. So we call back and warn the ground crew about all of the anti-air that might be used against them if the planet catches on to them.
Yes, that. Thank you, Helford. Reading it's easier. Because
Yeah,
I was
it's,
like, there's a lot of descriptions of a lot of blasty things, and my brain's just like, this is a lot of information, can't get.
it's okay. I get lost too sometimes. But yeah, it's, for the people who actually wants to know, it's Hydra batteries and Manticore batteries or platforms, right? Which is essentially just assault cannons. Assault cannons and missile, the self-propelled missiles with targeting. So yeah, that's what you're currently flying towards, or potentially flying into after you grab the tech priest. And yeah, every moment. Yeah, no, I think unless there is anything any of you wish to do, as this new revelation takes the foundation of the universe, I think we could possibly call it here because we're like 45 minutes over normal time.
Yeah,
And I know some people need to get up in the morning.
that sounds good to me.
So wait, I
Sounds
didn't even
good.
get to play with my thing.
You play with your thing plenty, you'll be fine.
That's true.
Look at it from the bright side. You had one session where you survived and you got XP.
Yeah.
that is very true, actually.
Shut the
Wish
fuck up and be grateful.
Be great. I am already great.
Yeet.
What?
I
Great feet?
said yeet. You're too
Oh, I think
old.
it's a great feet. I'm
I was like, you don't understand the yeet. I've been
Wow.
yeeting all session.
It's one of those days.
I
World of
feel
Warcraft
that.
does something to your mind where it slowly degrades.
I have no comments. That would
That's
be
why you
nice.
shouldn't play classic.
Uh,
Watch your-
Traffic, have you done the Skull Rock quest?
Yep.